Hi, my name is Bob, and I used to be your age, but not anymore. I've been asked to speak to you and share some of my experiences about the business, which hopefully comes with living long enough to have done a lot of things, perhaps even a few of them are worth telling you about. I assume that most of you are interested in or even excited about being involved in the media, television, video, or even YouTube. I'm not sure why, but probably for the same reason I was. I thought it was going to be exciting, really cool, fun, adventurous, very, very lucrative, and most of all, really easy. Boy, was I wrong. Let me say that when I think back on it all, what a strange, long, wonderful trip this has really been. I'm sure that someone probably said some nice things about me before playing this tape. I've been doing this a long, long time. I've worked on 2 Hollywood feature films, made way more than 20 documentaries, created hundreds of high-tech medical science, fundraising, public service, and music videos, and perhaps thousands of television commercials. In my old TV days, we used to crank out 8 car commercials before lunch. And I've been lucky enough to win a lot of awards along the way, including 31 Emmys. As wonderful and fun as it all sounds, here's the real truth. We all work on a 20-minute renewable contract. Yeah, that's great, but what have you done since lunch? All kidding aside, I don't mean to sound negative because it's all so magical. I know how you feel when the bug bites you, you're hooked. It's exciting and fun, and if you do it right, you get to go do some real fun things and go to some real cool places all around the world. Or not. I know that you young people just starting out look at this industry as a big Disneyland to play in. But remember, as much fun as Disneyland is, only Mickey and Walt make the big bucks. So don't do it for the money. Don't do it for the awards. Do it because it makes you feel good inside. It helps to quench that fire. If you can't feel the burn, look for something else where you do feel the passion. But at your age, when you look at many of the other jobs that are around you out there, like working in a cubicle for a big corporation, or pounding nails on a construction job, or a medical assistant, or even flipping burgers, or whatever you see when you look around in your world, and you say to yourself, on one hand, would I rather be in Hawaii shooting a nudist convention, or on the other hand, flipping burgers at McDonald's? I ask you, that's a no-brainer to me. And I like McDonald's burgers, by the way. Just like everything else in the digital world, things are changing faster and faster every day. Back when automation started to be talked about in broadcasting, I was so happy that I was a cameraman. I knew that of all of the people in television, sound people, stagehands, lighting people, actors, technicians, etc., that being a cameraman was an automation-proof gig. As a cameraman or a camera person to be PC, you needed your eye and a sense of composition and timing to do a great job. At least that's what I thought until the day that Channel 8 fired all of their studio cameramen. They put in robotic cameras that operated off of a laptop and barcodes on the floor. The cameras are never late or never get sick. The beginning of the lesson, things change. Look at this beauty. This is my old Bell & Howell 70DR that I used for many, many years. Hear that? I was showing it to a young cameraman friend recently, and he said, "Where do you put the batteries?" I said, "Batteries? You wind it up. It has a spring in it like a toy." But it never fails. This camera was made in the 40s and documented World War II and still takes great pictures today. I also have a video camera that I paid $12,500 for not all that long ago, and I'd be happy to sell it to you today for $100. Well, okay, $50. Boy, do things change. Look at this camera. Here it is. See, it's over here. Well, take a look. Look at this little guy. Isn't it cute? This is a high-def 1080p video camera with audio. Shoots 2 hours of great video. And I paid only, and get this, $37 for it, brand new, just a couple of months ago. And it may be obsolete in just a few months because of 4K and 8K. Amazing. Anyway, but so what? I didn't pay $12,500 of hard-earned money for it. It was only $37, about the cost of dinner or maybe a good lunch. Back in the day, I paid $38,000 for my first nonlinear edit system. Back when $38,000 was really a lot of money. Actually, it was a little more than my first house. It required 16 gigs of hard drive space to run, and I got 4 Seagate Barracuda hard drives of 4 gigs each and paid $1,500 each. $6,000 for hard drives. And now look at this. The same 16 gigs of hard drive space is on this little chip, and it costs less than $20, brand new. Whew, can you believe it? For me, like many of you, doing wonderful work has always been easy. Here's the hard part. Things change faster and faster, and the challenge is to keep up with the latest and greatest stuff. It's a race that sometimes takes all your money, profit, and time, and it's still harder and harder to stay abreast of the new changes and the new technologies. Learning about the new stuff is almost as hard as it is to afford to buy the new stuff. It's difficult to decide if you need that new technology or if you can get by with the old way for a few hours or a few months longer. I was lucky enough to have a few mentors along the way. I'm not sure they knew they were helping me at the time, but together they formed my attitudes into what helped me do a lot of the good stuff later in life. I treasure that. And over the years, I have mentored 6 or 8 young people who still keep up with me many, many years later. I'm so proud of them. I remember once, when I was just a puppy, I was talking to an old still photographer friend of mine, and I said I had to leave and go take a still picture of something. He started to yell at me and scared me to death. He said, anyone can go take a photo, but a real artist will go and make a photo. You visualize in your mind what you want your picture to look like, and then you go out and make those things happen, no matter what it takes. It's like the sculptor who takes a block of stone and then just takes away everything that doesn't look like an elephant. You invent it, you make it happen, and don't you forget it. Well, taking a picture might only take a 60th of a second, but making a good picture might take hours or days, but it will always be worth it. Here's a still photo I took for a brochure. The idea was to show that the client would stay up late at night and work hard for you. It took a week to make it. I hung a still camera from the roof 2 stories down and shot him working late at night by remote control. By the way, it won 3rd place in the Nikon International Photo Contest in black and white out of 37,000 entries. One of the things I do is to tell stories. My goal is to tell a good story that people need or want to see. There's always a temptation to take the easy way out. You know, when chroma key came in and other digital effects came in, it was easy to do fancy schmancy effects, to stand in front of a weather map rather than behind a glass map and trying to write the numbers all backwards, which we did, yeah. Everyone wanted to do those flips, page turns, fancy colors, picture-in-picture, zap-pow stuff. In fact, it was easier to do the whiz-bang stuff than it was to tell a good story. If you don't have a good story to tell, good writing, good location, good acting, good photography, good everything, all you have to do is make quicker cuts, more digital effects, add louder music, and some people will love it. But that's not the real art or the real communications. Today, with all my digital editing stuff, I still mostly use just straight cuts and dissolves only. One of my favorite quotes, which I have hanging over my desk, by the way, is from Ben Franklin to Thomas Jefferson, and he apologizes by saying he was sorry if he had had more time, he would have written a shorter letter. There's no replacement for real people and really good stories. Another quick story. I had some camera people over for some wine and to swap some war stories about clients. During the evening, I showed them a news promo I did for Channel 8 back in the day. A young guy there said something like, I was pretty good for back in the day, and I told him that I'd give him $100 if he could make one as good today without using a computer. Well, we didn't have computers back in the day. In fact, it was shot with this little spring wind camera that you saw earlier. I'm not really sure what I'm trying to tell you, but it may be to take a look at the big picture and get and keep an open mind and a broad perspective on what you love to do. Learn about the world. Get a broad education. You don't need to only do media stuff. That'll be easy for you. The big picture is much more challenging. This is what I know for a fact. Things are going to change for you faster than they did for me. I went from black and white, before videotape, with a spring wind film camera, before zoom lenses. You know, if you wanted to get a closer shot, get closer. And before computers, too. And now my little high-def camera I bought for 37 clams is going to be obsolete in just no time at all. And that is nothing compared to what you all face now. Get a broad education, study the world, look for your special place in it. Hold on, and if you're lucky, it will be as great a ride for you as it has been for me. Remember, doing the work you love is easy. Holding on to the perspective of the big picture and satisfying your inner self is much harder and more rewarding. Thank you for listening, good luck, and enjoy the ride.